love it, I love it, I love it. The real challenge with this glass table would be to set something heavy on this, an air fryer. So here we go. I haven't glued this back on yet because I was showing in the intro how thick this is. That's over a 1/4 inch thick glass. So how awesome is that? For this project, I used 4 of these clear plastic vases from Dollar Tree, and I was inspired by a couple of candle holders that I'd made a while back with floating gems. So I used that idea and reused some of those materials. Using my hot knife and at times my glue gun, I melted the parts that I needed so I could reuse them. I'll be sure to leave that video below if you want to watch it. You'll need just the lids off of 4 of these clear containers from Dollar Tree. These are just a fuzz too long to fit inside of the vase, so I trim a little off. Now, mine already have the LED tea light candle gems from Dollar Tree glued on these lids, but I do want to add a few more. I also have a pack from Hobby Lobby. They are just exactly like the ones from Dollar Tree. They have the same size gems, and then they have a super teeny tiny size. These are also known as rock gems. So I just use the small ones to kind of fill in the big gaps. And really, I have no idea what else I would use these for. I've kind of had them for a while and thought, yeah, I can use them here. So if you use the regular gems, the floral gems or the diamond shaped gems, the rock gems or just something else, you do want to add as much as you can without overdoing it so you can get as much weight as possible on the inside of these vases. After my gems are all glued on the lids, then I run a thick bead of hot glue across the rim of the lid, and I slide it inside the vase so that it's glued to the inside bottom. Then the lid where my floating gems are, I went back and added a rock gem and glued a rock gem to the lid, and then added glue on the other side of that gem and connected it to the vase, making kind of a bridge. Then, to enhance the image of the floating diamonds, I glued a few of these rock gems randomly to the inside wall of the vase to make it appear like they're floating. Now, for one of my favorite parts of this entire project, I have been so excited to try this new glue by Gorilla. And this is supposed to be compared to the E6000. It dries clear, it bonds to metal, glass, plastic, wood, and more. But what I love the most about this, y'all, it dries so fast. I mean, I just love it. This glue is for real. And in my opinion, it is 10 times better than E6000. And no, I am not sponsored or anything by Gorilla Glue at all. I'm never, ever, ever going to be using E6000 again after using this Gorilla Glue product. I am hooked forever, and you'll see why here later on. So I run a bead of this golden Gorilla Glue across the top rim of one of these vases, and I glue 2 of them together so that they're glued rim to rim. And the floating gems, I line that so that they're crisscrossed. I do the same to the other 2, and then I glue these together, which ends up being the bottom to the bottom, making one pretty long, heavy stem for the base of our table. So usually when I build a project, I try to think of everything and study the design, but clearly I totally missed something here with this one. So for the bottom of this, my first plan was to use 2 of these glass frames that we've seen at Dollar Tree recently. So what I done was I added some marbles on the inside and was going to set the vase on there, and then gems kind of all around the glass frame. Oh, you probably guessed it by now. the weight of the vases broke the glass. So, of course, I had to go ahead and move to plan B. But I wanted to let you guys know so you can see how everything kind of evolved. So, my next step was to go with a more heavy duty item. And this plastic on the silver plastic bowls is super, super thick. And I love that. So, that's what I went with. Let my hot glue sit for several minutes because I'm fixing to pile this hot glue in the center. And also in the center of these bowls, there's like this hump, and in the bottom of the vases, they have this indentation. And as it turns out, they're like the perfect fit. I set my vase in the center of the bowl. After I let that kind of sit for a few minutes, then I just keep adding more of this Gorilla Hot Glue all the way around the vase. And then I take some gems, but you can use anything to kind of make a little wedge. The rock gems would work, or any floral gem would work. Then I just went on ahead and filled in the rest of my bowl with some loose gems. I take another bowl and I glue the two bottoms together, and this is to help distribute the weight. For this thick glass top, I use this 11 by 14 picture frame from Dollar Tree. I set it on top, and now, no, I'm playing. So, I tried to think of how we can make this glass as safe as possible, where it could hold a lot of weight, and if it broke, it wouldn't be so dangerous. After a lot of testing over about a month's period, I finally discovered a technique that works, and I hope that you're inspired by this. And if you are also a creator and you use this idea in your project, a brief mention of where you first seen the original idea would be so greatly appreciated. So I said in my post Sunday that this was like tempered glass, and it is safety glass, but what I should have said is it's like laminated glass, which is the most safest glass of all. And here's a little clip I just want to show you guys so you get an idea of the different types of glass. Like a windshield in a vehicle, it has a clear laminate layer sandwiched between two pieces of glass. So that's pretty much what I'm going to try to create on a smaller level. The first thing I tried using was saran wrap, and after a ton of tries, I couldn't get the wrinkles out no matter what I tried. So I decided to be on the hunt for something else, and that's when I went with this clear cello wrap from Dollar Tree, which is next to the gift wrapping paper. I lay my first piece of glass on a sheet of wrap, and then I rolled a layer of wrap over this glass, and then I layered it with another piece of glass, and then I rolled more wrap over that, and so on until I had a piece of clear wrap between every piece of glass. Now this wrap grabs and it sticks to the glass, as you've seen in the clip where I pick up on the wrap and the whole glass sheet is stuck to it. But also I want to let you know, as you continue to layer your glass sheets, it will glide on the wrap until you get some weight added to the top of it. And before you do that, it will be so slick, it's like a sheet of ice. And that's not every time. I just noticed it a couple of times. So I just want to make you guys aware of it. Once I had my final glass on the top, I just started trimming the edges with scissors and getting as close to the edges as I could. I used my hot knife, which you can use like your glue gun if you wanted to, the tip of it, just to melt away the excess plastic. Now I go back to my magic glue and I seal the edges together. And I recommend using something like a paintbrush to apply the glue around the edges. By the way, I was using extreme caution and highly encourage everyone building with glass to do the same. Smeared the Gorilla Glue lightly with my finger and a napkin. So to make the edges safer and to add a little more to the glam look, I went around the edge of this glass with some bling. Now, using this same wonderful glue, I go ahead and I go around the top of the vase, which is actually bottoms up, and I apply a good thick coat or layer, and then I set my thick piece of glass on top, and when it's dry, which doesn't take long, we're finished. I'm really and truly so in love with this project. I am so happy with it. I'm so proud of it. The build of it, the durability. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are inspired and maybe get a couple of ideas out of this. Y'all have a wonderful, blessed weekend. Bye. This week's inspirational quote is from Debbie LeBlanc, and hers says, "Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift of God, which is why we call it the present." Oh, that is just wonderful. Thank you. I loved it the minute I read it. Thank you for sharing that. And if you want to share one, just drop it in the comments below next to the word quote, and I'll be sure to save it for a video.